Morning, everyone. Happy Friday, November 15th, 2024. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and it's now time for City Manager Bob Layton to go over both the draft agenda and next week's agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. So for the 19th, you start off with one award and two folks on the public agenda. On page 2, yes.
So I see the award for best tasting water. We already did that, didn't we?
So I can add to that real quick.
We got another award?
No,
Oh.
it's the formal, the American Water Works Association.
Yes.
They wanted to actually give us the trophy. That's what this is.
So we get to celebrate twice.
Yes.
All the better. Thank you.
We'll always accept the good.
That's right.
All right, on page 2, probably the item, and just a reminder, Mayor, I forgot to say this at the beginning, this is 6 o'clock meeting, 6 p.m. meeting, so folks don't get confused with our normal 9 in the morning start time.
This is the last of 4 evening time
For
meetings for
this.
2024, and there will be 4 additional nighttime meetings in 2025. So
That's
yes,
correct.
this is the last one, and it's again 6 o'clock, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I believe also, if people are looking at the agenda for next year, I think we have tentative dates for en bancs with the county as well that are on that schedule.
And we must end the meeting.
I'm sorry? Yeah. Okay, page 2, the unfinished council business, that's probably going to be your largest item on the agenda. What we're asking for the council to do is provide us guidance on the option that you would like us to focus on and to finalize. Where there are 5/6 options that are coming to you based on the original plan, as well as in response to feedback we received at a number of public forums. And again, I don't expect the council to approve any one plan, but if you could at least get us direction to try to get to a final plan for your consideration, that would be helpful.
I want to make sure that this presentation also provides information regarding deferred maintenance and what does that actually entail?
Yes, we'll have some discussion about that in terms of what the volume, the dollar volume is, our best estimate today, and then a discussion about the need to phase that in the CIP over a number of years, if that's the direction the council goes. If you went with option A, there would be some money coming from the revenue to help with capital cost. All the others assume that there's not capital, that the initial capital improvements to the garages would be through the capital improvement program.
So in other words, this current CIP that the council passed in August does not take into account any deferred maintenance regarding parking garages?
That's my recollection, yes. So you would
So
have
this
to
would be a
start
new
with
item?
That is correct.
Money that has not been allocated, and we would have to go find?
Over a period of time, yes. I mean, you're not going to do my recollection is about $18 million current estimate. You're not going to do $18 million worth of work in 1 year. What we would do is if the council decides to go in that direction, before we bring the CIP to you this summer, we would go ahead and prioritize the necessary improvements, and worst first would be addressed. But again, we don't anticipate you would do all $18 million in a single year.
You said out of option A through E, which was the only one that addresses the
A.
A is the only one that addresses any capital needs.
That has money going towards capital needs. And it wouldn't address the full backlog, right, Troy? Yep.
What percent of the backlog would be addressed in it?
So if you based your backlog on this idea, there's approximately $12 to $18 million that we've currently identified in deferred maintenance. The revenue that option A would generate could help offset the need we'll go find dollars in the CIP to start responding to that backlog, as well as start putting money towards future capital outlay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I want to be very clear that what you said was find dollars in the CIPs. Obviously, CIP dollars have already been allocated for the August budget. So I guess I would like to ask the city manager where we would find $12 to $18 million over time in the CIP. So where would you take money from one bucket to the next bucket in the CIP?
I can at least give you the categories where you could have those dollars. All right. On new business, number one is asking council approval for locating a Holocaust memorial on property adjacent to the Veterans Memorial Park. The funding for the memorial has been raised privately, and all that would be required of the city, in addition to approval of the site, would be about $1,500 in annual maintenance costs, and that's grounds maintenance and electrical expenses for the lighting of the memorial.
Is that comparable to the Vietnamese memorial?
Yes. And they would be located next to each other. On page 3, number 2 is a hardware purchase agreement with Dell. It's a change in the way that we would be purchasing our hardware. And as a result of that, by doing a direct purchase with Dell, we estimate we'll be able to save about $70,000 a year. Number 3 are a number of budget adjustments for the Public Works and Utilities Department. There are 5 divisions that will be impacted by these adjustments. The rationale for each of those is outlined in the council report and will be shared at the council meeting. Should note that funding is available in the operating budget, but what's happened is we've seen overruns in some line items, and those will be offset by savings in other line items in the budget. So you'll not be increasing the total amount of the Public Works and Utilities authorization. And then number 4 is an item that was, the council previously approved the bids for this project, but on the condition that it approved or followed the normal process for approving an overestimate bid, and so it's back in front of you for that approval.
I have a couple questions. First, on the green sheet, it's inaccurate. The city council did not approve this on October 3rd, 2024. It was October 3rd, 2023. So this council did not approve that budget. It was the previous council. So that's one correction on the green sheet. Number 2, I know that I believe I saw it in the report, $90,000.
Mayor, I'm sorry. My report shows that it's October 3, 2023 in the background for the approval. And then the bid.
I think that what the mayor's pointing out is the second part under financial considerations. It's just a clerical one.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Okay, got it. All right.
And then there was, if I remember correctly, $90,000 that has already been spent on this project. Can we get an understanding of where that money has gone to?
Yes, we'll get that. All right. That's all I have on page 3. Nothing on page 4. On page 5, 3A, this is a joint funding agreement for support services from the U.S. Geological Service. This work supports our Cheney and ASR operations.
Could we get a report on the Cheney Lake levels?
Sure. We'll send it out in writing unless you want to pull this item off.
It would be just good if the whole council knew just
Yep.
the.
We just sent a press
status.
release out yesterday that talked about that,
And
that
it's on
has
the-
that information.
It's on the Save Wichita Water.
Yep, we'll go ahead and, okay, we'll be prepared for that. That's all I have on page 5. On page 6, 3E, this is the annual agreement to determine the amount of water that is recharged into the aqueous beds and what is withdrawn from the city. This is a requirement of the state. That's all I have on page 6. On page 7, number 7, this would extend the contract date for the Jensen Hughes review of 9/11 call center and fire services that we entered into. This analysis is being done on behalf of the county and the city.
I saw the green sheet for number 7, and it says due to unforeseen circumstances. What are those unforeseen circumstances?
Dante Martin is our staff liaison on this, and he's not here today. So we can explain that after I get more information. I think it just took them longer to do the interviews and review process. Plus,
Do you have an estimate when the report will be out?
excuse me. And I think that's it. They can't get to the council and the commission in time by the time their contract ends. Don't quote me on this. I think it's January. I know they're nearing the completion of their work.
The green sheet says report by end of December 2024.
Yeah, I think they're trying to determine how that would be presented to each body and whether or not they have the time to get that done.
So just an extension of a month.
That's my recollection, yeah. Number 8 would approve the use of ARPA dollars for transit, capital, and operating expenses. And these are specific ARPA dollars for transit, not our normal ARPA funding. Mayor, that is all I have.
I have a question regarding number 9, which is the second reading ordinances. Previously, it used to list the 3 different changes in the common language form. Can we please have that back on the agenda so that it's clear for people to see what has been changed? In addition, the white sheet for number 9, please add the links to these ordinances so that folks can easily look at that. That was also in a few weeks ago. That change had already occurred, but it has not carried forward.
Staff transition issue, thank you. Thank you, all right. You should also have received a preliminary copy of the November 26th agenda. That is a reminder, that's all consent items, and Mayor, I'm not sure there's too much that I really want to highlight on this agenda. Number 3, when the council was discussing water rates for this year, there was some discussion about the tiered approaches and also the impact on commercial properties. And so what we want to do is a commercial rate analysis and drill down deeper to bring back options for the council's consideration on conservation measures for commercial and industrial properties. And then we have a change order due to some final field measurements on the OP3 program. That's number 5. And then we have an IRB project in number 7. I believe a letter of intent has already been approved by the council. This is actually issuing the IRBs. Also, on page 4, number 10, this comes to us, comes to the council occasionally, and this has to do with USDA providing technical services to us so we can control wildlife around both of our airports, try to minimize conflict, especially with waterfowl. That's all I have.
Thank you, and thank you for providing, this is now the second week that we have the draft agenda, which is 2 weeks in advance to a city council meeting, so that there's enough time to look at these consent agenda items and try to pull them to new business if need be. And so, again, thank you, City Manager, for that change. And I know that it took staff some time, but I think moving forward, it provides greater transparency to see what consent agenda items are coming forth 2 weeks in advance so that folks can prepare. And then I appreciate the more in-depth a few days before the city council meeting, which is the agenda review that we've had traditionally.
Right. Thank you.
Any comments from council members, including council members who are at the National League of Cities?
I do, Mayor. District 5 breakfast this Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. I'll give some updates, and we have a speaker, Jay Miller, from the Wichita Wind Surge. So he'd be a great speaker, so everybody's invited. Breakfast should be good, provided by Park West. So I also appreciate that. Hope they have bacon.
One more thing. Is there anyone online that would like to speak?
Yeah, this is Councilmember Ballard. I didn't get an opportunity to say when you guys were talking about the hydration stations, and I've asked staff for data to show why these investments are important and plan to share them with my colleagues as soon as I receive it.
Thank you, Councilmember Ballard. Any other? I just wanted to say thank you to, there are 3 council members right now at National League of Cities. I just came back from National League of Cities and represented the city for the Aviation Advisory Forum, and I am one of the co-chairs alongside the mayor of Orlando, Florida. So this is an opportunity for the city of Wichita to be at the forefront of advanced air mobility. This means air taxis, the production of them, the research of them, and Orlando is more on the forefront of actually having it on their airport because of their congestion on their streets. But I do believe that this is a great opportunity for Wichita, as we are the aviation capital of the world. And so it really is a great opportunity to make sure that Wichita is known for our manufacturing, our research, and our innovation. So I'm really grateful to serve alongside Mayor Dyer of Orlando. So I know that the council members who are in Tampa right now, we will come back next agenda review, which will be next Friday, and just share a couple of the things that we took away from our experiences there. And so safe travels to Vice Mayor Ballard, Council Member Hoheisel, and Council Member Johnson.
Yeah, and one other thing real quick, and talking about that at the next agenda review, it was Maggie and I went on a really good tour yesterday of the equivalent, the Tampa's equivalent of the Haven of Hope, or the MAC for us. And so, yeah, there's a lot of great things that we learned. Their design's a little different than ours, but look forward to giving an update on some of those things as well, and what we learned out at the homeless center.
Well, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.